Naungana na mbunge wa Homa Bay mjini, rafiki yangu huyu George Peter Kaluma, mwana ODM, ambaye sasa leo hii rais atakuwa akitoa tathmini yake ya serikali yake. Sijui kama utazungumza kwa Kiswahili ama Kiingereza. Kiingereza. So the president will be assessing or at least will be giving a status update of what his government has done in the past 1 year. How do you rate President William Ruto's performance in the past 1 year and the projection he is intending to take in the next one?
Compared to the previous presidents, President Ruto has done very well. You know, during the State of the Nation address, the President has to address compliance with the national values and principles of governance, compliance with matters human rights, the fight against corruption, because accountability and respect for human rights are among the national values and principles of governance. The others are inclusiveness, both in terms of public service, integration of the people there, and in terms of the sharing and development. I would rate President Ruto, each time he has come, there is a positive progress, unlike the others before. You know, people forget, my brother, but you remember Kenyatta's presidency and Kiambu Mafia. You remember President Moi's presidency and the fight that, you know, the government was being tribalized. You remember Kibaki, who was elected, who was elected nationally. When Raila said Kibaki tosha here, nationally, within 3 years, what did we have under Kibaki regime? Anglo-leasing, very big corruption cases, and against the national election, now he had gone to the quadruple M's. The people from that region were now, you know, ruling and doing everything. And you remember that is the time Gidongo wrote, "It is our time to eat." John Gidongo, you know, an anti-corruption czar who happened to hail from there. Now, you also know what was happening under President Uhuru in terms of the fight against corruption and accountability in the first 3 years. The Eurobond, the NYS rackets, and those are the issues. There has been some fight against corruption, okay? You don't have mega cases of corruption. And of course, corruption is pervasive. It is in every sector of our society. It is in every unit of our society, including families. But really, there are steps Ruto is putting in. You've heard him talking about government procurement. You've heard him, you know, proposing measures like whole government approach in the fight against corruption. Because in as much as this is delegated to EACC, really EACC cannot be everywhere at the same time. So there is some approach. For once, Kenyans are feeling like, you know, all Kenyans are being integrated and they have been given freedom to be in government. You know how government was under Uhuru. It was largely two communities ruling us for 10 years.
But is that so? Is that so?
At the level of the cabinet, of course, the numbers are limited. We have 22 cabinet secretaries, the president, the deputy president, and the attorney general. But at least from each region, you may not satisfy all the ethnic communities in a total of 25. But each region, you know, has somebody represented, even those regions which, you know, are hostile to this current leadership. And I think you'd agree with me. At the level of PSS, you've seen some reorganization. I know below PSS, there has been a bit of, you know, resistance and a slowdown in that push. But remember, this is also reasonable, because to have the face of the nation where the systems have been tribalized since independence, it means you exit some people as you bring some Kenyans. Yet the policy of, you know, President Ruto and the policy of the broad-based government is to include everybody, not to exclude anybody. So sometimes they will go slowly, but I think admittedly, look at even development. This is my 14th year in this National Assembly. I can tell you, until President Ruto came, no inch of tarmac in the entire Homa Bay County, leave alone Homa Bay Town constituency. What is the situation now? You see people joking about roads like this one, Kotulo, the one cutting from Mandera through Ajia to Garissa. Is it not going on? Look at the stadia we were talking about. We are moving to a level where nearly each county can host a national event in a properly built, you know, stadium, not just a shed, like, you know, was happening before. So there are some positives. I think the request I would make for Kenyans is that we engage constructively. We know Kenya is ours. among the ideals the president should be talking about is patriotism. And this is what makes this State of the Nation address very special. You know, Baba would be somewhere around here, yes, if he were there.
Allow me to ask you this, because you have raised the issue of inclusivity under President William Ruto. You've spoken about the issue of regionalism and actually tribalism. Yes. And some may actually say that it is now under President William Ruto, and especially with the joining, and I'll explain my question, with the joining of ODM, that there appears also to be, yes, one kind of tribalism has been dealt with, but another kind of tribalism being encouraged. For instance, you, Mheshimiwa, on social media would always refer to those tribalists, speaking to a certain region, yes, or a certain group of people. Yes. No action has been taken against you. Yes. Is it because of broad-based, or how would you respond to this?
Because I'm factual. You know, inclusiveness or inclusivity is among our national values. Let me tell you, my brother, the idea of a nation is that all Kenyans own the resources of this country and equally share in them. And that is why even if your presidential candidate has failed to win, okay, taxes are taken from you. So it is not a gift that when the president you voted for wins, all the resources come to you. And these resources are public service appointments, okay? And, you know, material development. Look at what has been happening in the past. If you look at our constitution today, there is nothing called opposition. We are one government. By the way, I'm in government. Why should it hurt anybody when ODM supports a government in which ODM is and which is funding that ODM as a political party for our good governance, when ODM is given a minister and for the first time a Turkana has a cabinet secretary in government? Somebody from Western Kenya is there.
That is not entirely factual.
So the people, yeah.
In terms of the first Turkana in cabinet, we had John Munyes.
I'm saying under Ruto. Is it not only Beatrice at school? Why should anybody be hurt when Mbadi, who is a minority Suba, people think he's a Luo, is integrated into government? What does Article 232 of the Constitution says? Ethnic, regional, gender, integration of persons with disability, minorities, and everybody. Okay? So the people I call tribalists are people who are entitled, people who think everything belongs to them because they are the ones who made a president. And I'm right to call them tribalists because they are seeking to exclude others based on their tribal, you know, formations. And I think that is why NCIC encourages me to continue, you know, factually saying, don't be a tribalist. Kenya belongs to all of us.
My last question to you, Mheshimiwa, is about the position that ODM has taken. 1 year ago, I was in this house covering the State of the Nation address, and ODM was very critical of the Ruto regime. At that time, the critical issues included Adani dealing with the airport. It included Adani still involved in the medical insurance and all that. And the president revoked the Adani move from here. Yeah. The members of parliament of ODM whom I spoke to last year are today speaking a very different language. I don't remember speaking to you, but you today are supporting policies of the president. In fact, your late party leader, may God rest his soul in peace, even spoke about that particular airport project being a good project for the country. But this is not how ODM was speaking last year.
Let me tell you, there is nobody who is as patriotic as Raila Odinga. There is no time you would agree with me that Raila said the construction of the airport under a PPP arrangement, whether by Adani or anybody, should be stopped. Let me tell you, Kenyans, let me tell you, Ethiopia Cross here has built the Bole International Airport. It's a very big one through PPP. As we speak, they are building another airport at Bishoftu, a short distance from Bole International Airport, which is going to be very big. We are the regional hub. We have allowed all Africans to come to Kenya visa-free. The thing you are calling JKI here is a cowshed. It's a cowshed. And I can tell you I've supported it throughout. I'm happy you did not ask me that question. In Kenya, you are saying we don't have enough money to engage in heavy infrastructure development. People start politicizing them. You saw the people who are rioting to JKI that day, including street urchins, now being called legends, but they're going there walking on that expressway. That expressway has been built by you. It's a Chinese property. That is why they're tolling it. But see how easy it has made people to be going to the airport on and off. I want to ask President Ruto, please get somebody to build JKIA. We are losing so much as a country as we prevaricate over leadership. And I want to ask Kenyans, once you elect a leader, allow him to lead. Allow him to progress the society. For once, I can say without mincing words, and I hope we'll have better time, that if you put all these presidents together from independence, we cannot compare any to President Ruto. This guy is visionary. This guy means well. This guy is integrating everybody. This guy has a focus. We should, in as much as we are criticizing him, support him. And we are not doing this because of Breadboard's government, where things are also wrong. I mean, Raila would say, let our government stop these abductions which are going on. And you remember he died when we had created a team to compensate the Kenyans who died during. Where has that thing been stopped? Do you know if that compensation team is stopped? I can tell you today, my brother, nobody will be compensated. Did you know that? Because of the strictures of the law. They need to prove personal negligence. They need to open the time limitation and under the Limitations Act. That is the only way. So I hope President Ruto, when he comes here, will be telling the judiciary not to over-intermeddle in the matters of the state. We want people to be compensated. Right. We want an inclusive, government. We want a country where all citizens, in spite of their tribe, their religion, the region they come from, their gender, whether they have disability or they are differently disabled, have an equal voice in the governance of their country. And Ruto is doing very well. Let us support him.
Thank you very much. Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament, Peter Kaluma, of course.